Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have swatches for you from the Land of Sweets collection from Superchic Lacquer. So in the description box below I will link the Superchic site, my Instagram page, and their Instagram page. So like I said, we have 6 polishes to look at today. They are all scented, and let's go ahead and get started. So first we have Don't Eat the Cotton Candy, and this is described as an intense cotton candy blue flaky hollow with a super vibrant hot pink flash of shimmering undertones, and this one is scented like a carnival of freshly spun sugar. So here is our first coat of Don't Eat the Cotton Candy. So this is sheer on the first coat. It is going to build up well though. All of these across the board have the same formula, same finish, same opacity, same pretty much everything, so I am going to repeat myself a lot in this video. The formula on this is okay. It's on the thinner side, so you can't work in super thick coats. So here is our second coat, and this is building up well in 2 coats, but I can still make up my nail line, so I am going to go in for a third coat. These could double as toppers. I wanted to see them on their own because they are really, really beautiful. This is the first time in a long time that I feel like my swatch photos don't do the polishes justice, which sounds a little bit narcissistic, but I feel like they just didn't come off on camera as beautiful as they were in person. So this is completely opaque in 3 coats though. This is going to dry pretty textured, 1 to 2 coats of a glossy top coat. I did use the Superchic top coat, Marvel Liquid Macro, and it did smooth everything out well for me. But surprisingly, nothing in here is difficult to remove, so that is really, really nice. So there is 3 coats. So up next we have Bittersweet Oil Spill, and this is described as an intensely dark, flaky hollow with a flash of bittersweet chocolate undertones, and this one is scented like a fudge shop. So here's our first coat of Bittersweet Oil Spill, and this one has more of a tinted base than anything in the collection, so it is going to build up more opaque than the rest of them. Formula is the same though, it's on the thinner side, but it's not hard to work with. These larger flakes that are in here can dry super duper textured. If you get something like that, I would recommend swiping that one off and trying for a different size, because these larger ones can create an odd texture like here on my ring finger. But this is building up well in 2 coats. These flakes across the board in this whole collection do take some manipulation, so moving around to kind of cover any bald spots. So this is opaque in 3 coats, and this is, I think, the only one in the collection that I wouldn't recommend using as a topper unless you put it over a black. But again, this one's going to dry super textured, but surprisingly not difficult to remove. So there is 3 coats. Up next we have Spoonful of Sugar Plum, and this is described as an intensely bright silver flaky hollow with a flash of vibrant shimmering lavender undertones, and this one is scented like sweet sugar plum. Here's our first coat of a Spoonful of Sugar Plum. And so this is pretty sheer here on this first coat. I feel like this one doesn't have nearly as many of those extra large flakes as the rest of them did, which makes the application just a little bit easier. Nothing to really manipulate and move around. The formula on this, again, is on the thinner side. It's not difficult to work with whatsoever though. So here's our second coat, and this builds up okay in 2 coats, but it's not completely opaque, so I am going to go in for a third coat. You could also sponge most of these on. The previous one I don't recommend using with a sponge, but I think the rest of them you could pretty much sponge on for more opacity if you don't like the look of them on 3 coats. So here's our third coat, and this covers about 90%, 95% on this third coat. Again, it's going to dry pretty textured, so you'll want a glossy top coat, maybe 2 coats if you don't use a nice glitter eating one like the Superchic top coat, but nothing in here is difficult to remove. So there is 3 coats. So next we have Sweet Heat, and this is described as an intense copper rose flaky hollow, vibrantly accented with shimmering violet undertones, and this is scented of brown sugar with a hint of cinnamon. So here's our first coat of Sweet Heat. And once again, this is a little sheer here on this first coat. This one's going to build up really, really nicely though. I do think that the colors in this play really nicely, and it is a standout for me in the collection. Again, the formula on this is a little bit on the thinner side, but it's not difficult to work with. So here's our second coat, and this is building up nicely in 2 coats, but not completely opaque, so I am going to go in for a third coat. The flakies in here, again, most of them are going to lie relatively smoothly. You do get some of these larger ones though that are going to stand up. If you don't like that, you're going to have to swipe it off or move it around and flatten it on your nail. So this is completely opaque in 3 coats for me. Again, it's going to dry pretty textured, so you'll want a top coat for that reason. Nothing in here is going to be difficult to remove, and instead of doing a whole 4th coat, because some of these can still be sheer on 3, I would recommend patch jobs. So there is 3 coats. So up next we have Holly Lolly, and this is described as an intense wintry holly green flaky hollow with a super vibrant hot pink flash of shimmering undertones, and this one is scented like crisp winter berries. Here's our first coat of Holly Lolly. And this one is also sheer on this first coat. The shimmer that's in this though is very, very strong, so I feel like it helps to distract from the nail line a little bit more than anything else in this collection so far. So it does look more opaque, but there's a ton of flakes that are in all of these as well to help with that opacity. So this builds up pretty well in 2 coats. I am going to go in for a 3rd coat just to keep it across the board, but honestly, if I were wearing this out, I would probably stop in 2 coats. The formula on this is the same though, it's on the thinner side, but it's not difficult to manage. So here's our 3rd coat, and this is opaque in 3 coats. This one's also going to dry very textured. If you don't like that, you'll want a nice glossy top coat to finish this off, but nothing in here is going to stick to your nails or be difficult to remove. So there is 3 coats. And lastly for today we have Sugar Buzz, and this is described as a super intensely bright, light-catching multicolor flaky hollow that features an array of candy lane colors with a hint of shimmering blue undertones, and this one is scented like delicious hard candy. And here's our first coat of Sugar Buzz. So this one, that got blown out. This one is pretty sheer on this first coat. The formula on it's the same, a little bit on the thinner side, easy to manage though. This one is pretty versatile in that I feel like it would look good over just about everything. If you used pretty much anything else in this collection as a topper, it would be very specific to a set of colors, if that makes sense, but this one would look good over just about anything in my opinion. So this one has complete opacity here in 3 coats, and again, you're going to want a nice thick glitter-eating glossy top coat to finish this off, maybe 2 coats depending on how many of those flakes built up on itself, and removal process of this is actually not difficult. So there is 3 coats. So I think my favorite of this collection is Holly Lolly. I really, really like the color of this. I like the flakies in this. I like the smell of this the best as well. So I really, really liked Holly Lolly the best. And that is it. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of these polishes. Let me know if you plan on picking any of them up, and let me know what your favorite was. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more from me, and I will talk to you again next time.